Hello everybody and welcome to episode 30 of my World of Warcraft Let's Play. The episode number and our level is finally matching once again. This is the first time it's done that since episode 1 of this series, but it's not going to for too much longer because we are almost to level 31 and there are a ton of people out here in Darkshire right now. And I am going to go ahead and continue working on some of the Duskwood quests that we have left. We are almost done with all of our quests here in the Kingdom of Stormwind, and we will soon enough be moving on to a brand new part of the world, but there's still a couple more things that I want to do. First a wish is to go to Westfall, so let's go ahead and get a griffin and go to Sentinel Hill. And now that we are in Westfall, let's go ahead and start heading towards Moonbrook. In Moonbrook, we can work on our quest, The Legend of Stalvan. This quest is a pretty lengthy quest, and we started it several episodes ago, and basically we're trying to figure out some information about a mysterious individual named Stalvan, and we talked to the clerk in Darkshire, and we now know that he once had an address in Moonbrook at the old schoolhouse. It was his last recorded address, so we're heading over there to see if we can get some information about this. So Moonbrook is right over there across the plains. We have been there a long time ago, and I guess it is nice to be able to return here because we are about 10 levels higher than like the highest level mob in the zone, and we have been out of here for a while. We've completed all the quests here, but we still have this quest here that we are returning to. I believe the end of this quest chain is actually an elite quest, and I'm going to go ahead and attempt to do it, but I have a feeling that I'm going to fail with it again, just like with the elite quest that we did last episode. So we might have to bundle it onto the other ones that we tried last episode and come back in a later episode when we're a little higher level and a little stronger, so we can do that. But here we are in the schoolhouse, and it's very worn down in here, so let's go ahead and begin investigating. And I see an old footlocker here, so let's go ahead and open this up. And it says the old footlocker creaks open. Let's go ahead and complete the quest. And then you find a dusty unsent letter in the old footlocker. Take the dusty unsent letter to Clerk Daughtry, and a forlorn spirit spawned. So let's go ahead and I'll just go ahead and it says, who is this mean human that meddles with that which is the past? May the legend of Stalvan die along with you. So let's go ahead and just kill that really quickly. And we got 65 copper. And we have the Curse of Stalvan on us, which is all attributes reduced by 5, and I have a remove lesser curse, so that is nice, got rid of that. And let's go ahead and check out our quest log here, and we have a dusty unsent letter, so we can go ahead and read this, which says, to the Honorable Headmaster Killian, my former master, I write to you so that you might know what your apprentice has been doing of late. Paying heed to your advice, I sought to build my knowledge and wisdom through travel outside the gates of our beloved Stormwind. My journeys took me to many places, but I have decided to take up residence here in the lonely town of Moonbrook. The surrounding fields of Westfall are most beautiful as the harvest approaches. Within just a few days of my visit, I found myself tutoring the local children from the nearby farmlands. The lessons went so well that the town mayor commissioned me to run a school, and construction has begun on a brand new schoolhouse. From Silverpine to Stormwind and now Moonbrook, who would have guessed I would see so much of Azeroth? Warm regards, Stalvan Mistmantle. So we can go ahead and bring this unsent letter back to Clerk Daughtry and Darkshire. So let's go ahead and head back into Sentinel Hill here, and we can go ahead and get a griffin back to Darkshire. There's a lot of running in this quest chain. Back in Darkshire, let's go ahead and talk to the clerk here in the town hall, and let's get an update about what he knows about Stalvan based off our new information here. And he says, interesting, so the chap did spend some time in Moonbrook after all. It is rather odd the letter never got delivered. Nonetheless, I shall update the registry. Oh my, must have missed this the first time. In the registry, right beneath the first address of Stalvan's, there's another one listed, only partially scratched out. Looks like he was headed to Lion's Pride Inn over in Goldshire. Might want to check their Athos. So let's go ahead and return to Goldshire. We have not been to Goldshire in a long time. In Elven Forest, the first zone that we have explored in the Let's Play series. And let's go ahead and go to the inn there, the Lion's Pride Inn, and let's see if we can find any more information about Stalvan. Back in our stomping grounds, let's head into the inn here, and then let's talk to Innkeeper Farley and see what he has to say. So the Legend of Stalvan, he says, sure, sounds familiar. The name Stalvan rings a bell, I remember now. Many years back on a stormy night, a messenger came in seeking refuge for the night. Near the stroke of midnight, the man ran down the stairs screaming, his face pale with fear. Still wearing his bedclothes, he disappeared into the downpour. In his haste, he forgot his letters in the chest upstairs. He never returned for them. One remains from that Stalvan fellow intended for the Canal District in Stormwind. Help yourself to it. So let's go ahead and run upstairs, and let's check this out. So coming into this room over here, we have this chest right here. So let's go ahead and read through the storage chest and get an undelivered letter. Opening the chest up, we can get it, and then I have a feeling we saw a ghost earlier. There might be a ghost that appears here, not entirely sure. Let's go ahead and read the undelivered letter that says, "Dear noble sir, word of your need for a tutor for your children has traveled to me here in Goldshire, where I take up temporary residence in the Lion's Pride Inn. Due to the unfortunate state of events in the region, I was forced to abandon my post as headmaster of the Moonbrook Schoolhouse. Please accept my application to serve as tutor for your offspring. Headmaster Quillian of the Academy can speak to you of my abilities if necessary. I shall travel to meet you in person when the winter's rains subside and the roads are suitable for travel once again. Until then, Stalvan Mistmantle of Silverpine." So let's go ahead and head into Stormwind, and we can go to the canals here and we can try to figure out the next step in this man's journey. To highlight really quickly, Stalvan Mistmantle is from Silverpine Forest, which is a location in Lordaeron, and we can kind of check our map here. It is this area of the road right here. So this zone is Silverpine Forest, and it is on the western shore here of Lordaeron. So we will pass by that area, but it is a leveling zone for the Horde, the opposite faction, where we are the Alliance, so we don't have much going on there, but we will be around in that area, so we'll just take a quick glance at it. But maybe one day we will explore through it. In the Stormwind Canals, we have Caretaker Folsom here, so let's go ahead and have a chat with him. And he says, "You got some nerve bringing this here. My father was the caretaker of the estate long before I was. He had to mop the blood up after the massacre. But that's neither here nor there. The last funds of the Flint Ridge Trust have dried up. Now the last of the family possessions are headed for auction. Blame the tax vultures. I guess if you're really itching to learn more, you're free to look through this junk. Who knows what you might find." So let's go ahead and take a look through all this junk here. And we have a sealed crate right here. And we can slowly slide the lid off the crate. And inside the crate are various different objects: musty heirlooms, a family portrait, a few hunting trophies, and some old books. Near the bottom, underneath a ceramic vase, you uncover a torn journal page. So let's go ahead and grab this journal page, and it looks like there's another forlorn spirit that says, "Let this Legend of Stalvan rest." So let's go ahead and fight the spirit off again. Looks like we got the curse again that we can just go ahead and cleanse off of ourselves. Frostbolt into a fire blast, and that was easy. So let's go ahead and cleanse this off. And let's go ahead and read this journal page. Also, if anyone's wondering, there's actually currently a festival going on in World of Warcraft. That's why the city is a little bit decorated right now. It's for the Lunar Festival, and I will probably explore the festival at some point, not necessarily in this Let's Play series, but we'll take a look at it. Just like all the other festivals, I do want to take a look at some point. But let's go ahead and read this torn journal page, and it says, "Giles, the boy, seems a bit rambunctious and will be a challenge to educate. However, the older daughter, Telewa, or how you pronounce that, seems exceptionally smart. I couldn't help but to notice her captivating beauty as well. She's on the cusp of womanhood now. Supposedly, the Lord has arranged her marriage for next year, but I digress." A little creepy there. "This week, I will accompany the family to their summer cottage near the East Vale logging camp in Elwyn, close to the Red Ridge Mountains. I hope to write more while there." So let's go ahead and head to the Red Ridge logging camp, and I think it might be faster if you just fly to Red Ridge and then run west a little instead of running all the way through Elwyn Forest. So let's go ahead and come over to the Griffin Roost here, and let's go ahead and take a flight all the way to Red Ridge. We're just going to all the zones today. I guess that's a little bit of a good capstone for our adventures in the Kingdom of Stormwind, because while we still have some more stuff going on here throughout the rest of our Let's Play, we will definitely be done with the bulk of content and exploration that we will be doing here throughout this Let's Play. Landing in Red Ridge Mountains, let's go ahead and head to the road here, and we can say goodbye to Lakeshire. For now, we're not going to go across the bridge. We are going to head west to the East Vale logging camp. Back in the East Vale logging camp, it has been a long time since we've been here. I've been saying that a lot this episode because we're just going down memory lane right now. I think episode 3 was about East Vale, but here we have Marshal Haggard. Let's go ahead and chat with him, and he says, "I can barely make out those letters, but that writing style reminds me of something I once saw before my vision became so poor." He says, "There was a bundle of parchments in the chest upstairs when I moved into this place. I looked at them once when I first arrived, but I gave up once the fog hazed over my peepers. Do an old nearly blind man a favor and check the chest upstairs for anything that might help you in your quest to discover more about the Stalvan character. I'm pretty sure there's a faded journal page that might be of interest to you. Bring it to me and I'll help in any way I can." So let's go ahead and run into this house, and we can go ahead and run to the top floor, I believe, or is it down here? Let's go ahead and look around here. This looks like a children's room, so let's go ahead and run up here. I would assume that he has his bed up here. And it looks like he does, and it looks like there's a chest here, so let's go ahead and rummage through this chest and see what we can find. We're looking for a faded journal page, and we found one, and we've been attacked by another ghost here that says toil not in matters of the past Athos. So let's go ahead and start casting some frost bolts here. And we got cursed again, but these forlorn spirits are only level 25. We are 5 levels higher than that, so I'll go ahead and cleanse that curse. And then let's go ahead and talk to Haggard once again. And he says, you found it. I know of someone who might be able to assist you. Back when I was leading the Storm Guard, we used to get drinks at the Scarlet Raven Tavern in Darkshire. The innkeeper there, Smiths, was quite an expert on the local lore. Show him this page and see what he has to say about it. So, I'm going to go ahead and Hearthstone back to Darkshire, which is very convenient because we need to go to the inn there in Darkshire, and our Hearthstone is set to the inn, so let's go ahead and go there now. Arriving at the end, we arrived right in front of the tavern keep, so let's go ahead and have a chat with him. And he says, Haggard sent you? By the light, you bet I recognize that handwriting. I followed the legend of that Stalvan character for years. When those visiting nobles were slaughtered a few years back, I went with Haggard to investigate. I found those muddy pages, but we were never able to link the handwriting to that crazy man in the woods. Your trail of evidence proves his guilt. Take this to Commander Eppenlock immediately and fill her in on what you've discovered. So we have a bloodstained journal page here, and I forgot to read it, but luckily we still have it now. We also have muddy journal pages. So this says, most certain that she shares the same feelings for me now. She even placed her hand on mine this morning. When she smiles, her eyes light up like glittering diamonds. Unspoken words pass between us. I can feel her in my pounding heart and heated veins. Anger and fury, the likes of which I never knew existed. How dare she? As I was instructing Giles in the meaning of numbers, Taloa appeared before me with a suitor, holding hands in public nonetheless. What an uncouth young man. Rather than introduce me properly, Taloa simply said, oh, that's just my tutor, Uncle Stalvan. He's a nice old man. Old! At that word, my cheeks flushed with heat. I am but a few years older, and yet she betrays. So let's go ahead and chat with Eppenlock here, and we can chat with her about the Legend of Stalvan. And she says, you have proved yourself to be quite a detective, Mage. She says, I've had my eye on that creep Stalvan for quite some time, but if this page was written by the same hand, it proves his guilt beyond a shadow of a doubt. In all his days keeping the town registry, Clerk Darkshire has become an expert at identifying handwriting. Show him this page and see if the writing matches that of the registry signature. We now have this bloodstained journal page. A downward spiral of despair. First she mocks me, and now she is engaged. The ungracious charlatan was pretending to love when truly she desired to hurt me all along. A black void lurks within me now, and it grows with each waking moment. The blood I shall spill pales in comparison to the tears I have shed. So it looks like, from all of our investigation, we could summarize that Stalvan seems to be an incel. So let's go ahead and talk to Clerk Darkshire and see if we have a connection here between all these different journal pages and his signature. So he says, why yes, the writing on this page does in fact match that of the registry signatures. Let Commander Eppenlock know immediately that the handwriting matched. Her suspicions were correct. So I'm going to go ahead and run 5 feet back this way, and we can go ahead and talk to Althea. And she says, I knew it. Fine work, Athos. Stalvan Mismantle led a life of depravity. Innocent victims died by his hand. Undoubtedly he is guilty of countless crimes. Now the lunatic threatens Darkshire. The light only knows what sordid acts he is plotting. Travel to his cottage just north of town, Mage, and execute Stalvan once and for all. When the deed is done, travel to Madame Eva's and show her his family ring. After all, it was her premonition that led to this gruesome discovery, but Darkshire is safer because of her. So we can kill Stalvan Mismantle and show Madame Eva his family ring. So we are now at the difficult part of this quest, that is an elite level quest, and is level 35. Actually, it's not an elite level, it's just a very high level quest. So let's go ahead and just have a stab at it and see if we can complete it. And if we can't, we will go ahead and return here, and we should be able to do this no matter what at a higher level, even if we might fail these other ones at a higher level. Let's run north out of Darkshire, and we have an area here that we have not explored yet, so we can go ahead and explore it for the first time now. Coming off the road here, we have another road, and we have some ghouls up here, so let's go ahead and begin fighting them. And we have just discovered Manor Mistmantle. And you can see that there is a house over there in the distance. So let's go ahead and clear the undead out of the way and see if we can find Stalvan Mismantle inside. There are a ton of ghouls around here, and I'm not going to clear them all out of the way. I'm just going to clear these ones in the immediate entrance out. So go ahead and finish this one off, and then I'll go ahead and heal up. Looks like this ghoul is wandering this way a little bit. Is wandering away. Maybe we'll be fine. I'll just want to get my mana up really quickly. And then peeking into this house here, I cannot see anything quite yet. I might have to clear this ghoul just to be safe. And looking in, we have Stalvan Mistmantle, who is an undead. Looks like he's holding 2 swords. So let's go ahead and come this way a little bit. I'm going to do my best to ignore that ghoul there. Let's go ahead and pull Stalvan Mistmantle. Looks like we rooted him in place with our traits. That is very good for us. And he is now wandering this way, so I'm going to go ahead and root him back in place. Looks like he's casting something on us. He cast the Curse of Stalvan on us, which all of the Forlorn Ghosts did. I have a feeling now that the ghosts that we fought earlier are actually Stalvan's victims, so it looks like we might have brought a little bit of peace to them, but let's bring the ultimate peace now, and let's go ahead and finish him off. We can go ahead and get his family ring, and we got an enchanting formula that we might be able to sell for a little bit of gold, which is nice. Coming into here, it's just a bunch of ruined furniture and some bones, which is very unsettling, but now let's go ahead and quickly run back towards Darkshire. We can come into here and chat with Madame Eva, so we can go ahead and tell her about Stalvan's fate, and she says, "I know, Athos, Stalvan is dead. I sensed a wave of hope ripple through the tainted forest. Once and for all, Duskwood is free from his bloodthirst. My joy is hampered by the thoughts of those who fell prey to the horrible beast. Nonetheless, you are a brave and cunning mage. So now we can pick this main hand axe that we can equip, or we can pick this Ring of Forlorn Spirits, which I am going to go ahead and pick to replace the Ring of Iron Will with, because it is 5 more spirit, 2 less stamina, but I value the spirit much more than I value the stamina. So let's go ahead and equip this into here, and now we are a little bit more powerful, and we have completed the Legend of Stalvan. We have completed the entire quest chain there, so that was very fun. For the rest of the episode, I'm going to go ahead and work on the last couple of quests that we have left in Darkshire. Not any of the elite quests that we might come back to in the future, but I'm going to go ahead and begin exploring the threat of the Worgen in the woods. Heading along the road out of Darkshire again, let's go ahead and take this branch off, and we can come to the Rotting Orchard, where there are some Nightbane Worgen around here, and we are looking for Nightbane Shadow Weavers. This is a little bit of a low level quest, so we should do fine here. There are some Dark Runners around as well, and I see some Shadow Weavers there, so let's begin clearing our way through here. This quest is a super quick one. We only have to kill 6 of the Shadow Weavers, so we should only be here for a moment. But we have the Rotting Orchard here, and we can see it is a giant orchard, and just like the name suggests, it is rotting. Riveting commentary. But in all honesty, this is kind of a cool location, and I just kind of like orchards, like especially like bigger orchards like this, both in real life and also in games. And I think like orchards like this theme really well when like the spookiness of like the creatures that the Worgen are, because we've explored the Worgen a little bit, and we know that they are similar to like werewolves and like other mythologies. And we're going to clear them out from these 2 houses here that are just here at the orchard, and I would presume that people once upon a time lived here, and maybe they're Worgen now, or maybe they are just dead. So if they are dead, let's go ahead and avenge them a little bit, assuming that they died to the Worgen. We also have a very cool looking barn way off in the distance with a giant tree right outside of it. We have talked a little bit about the Scythe of Elune throughout this Let's Play series and its connection to the Worgen, and we'll be talking more about that in the future as well. It's kind of interesting in classic World of Warcraft, where actually a big chunk of the storyline related to the Scythe of Elune actually comes from the Night Elf areas. And that makes a lot of sense because Elune is like the goddess of the Night Elves. So it is a good storyline for them, and it actually brings them over to Duskwood, where they explore the Scythe of Elune a little bit more. But for the most part, for right now in the Let's Play series, we're just going to be talking about fighting the Worgen, and we're just going to try to clear out some of these areas here. Because right for this moment, we don't care too much about the story of the Scythe of Elune. We'll get to that later on in the future. For now, we just care about protecting the people of Duskwood and the Kingdom of Stormwind as a whole. We have 1 more Shadow Weaver left to fight for this quest, so let's go ahead and finish this one off. 333 damage to that Worgen there. Let's go ahead and loot him, and then let's go ahead and run back to Darkshire. Looks like I got a blacksmithing recipe there, so we got 2 recipes this episode. I might go ahead and try to sell this one as well on the auction house. But back to Darkshire. We have Kalor here. Let's go ahead and chat with him, and he says, "Impressive. Seems like you are capable enough to handle yourself. But the Worgen do not disappear straight out of thin air. There are more to fight. So now we can fight 12 Nightbane Dark Runners, and we fought a couple when we were at the orchard. But I think I'm going to go ahead and go to a new area that we poked our head a little bit at, and we are going to come up here to Brightwood Grove. So let's go ahead and run west back out of Darkshire and head over there. Brightwood Grove, we just entered it. Let's go ahead and come up the hill here and let's start fighting some Worgen here. So I think it's pretty similar to the Rotting Orchard, but all across the hills here there are just a ton of Worgen around, so let's go ahead and begin hunting them all down. We have 2 Nightbane Dark Runners right here, so I guess we will start right here. So to talk a little bit about my journeys in World of Warcraft outside of the Let's Play series, I've actually recently started playing the hardcore version of World of Warcraft. And what this means, for anyone who doesn't know, there is a huge community as well as an add-on that basically allows you to play the game in like a hardcore mode. And what hardcore means is it's basically just playing through World of Warcraft. But the 2 biggest things are that you cannot group up with anybody else unless you are grouping up for a dungeon, and you can only do a dungeon once. Or if you're specifically doing a hardcore duo or trio with like 1 other person or 2 other people, you can group up for that. And in addition, if your character ever dies, if you die once, you delete the character. And then there are a few other rules as well, but it just adds a ton of flavor to the game and it makes it incredibly fun, especially with how the add-on is designed, where everyone is in like a guild together or in multiple guilds, and it will announce to everybody when someone reaches a milestone of level 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, or 60, and it will also announce when someone dies. So whenever someone reaches a milestone, everyone's like congratulating everyone, and then whenever someone dies, everyone is offering condolences to them. So it's just really fun, and it's a really interesting way to play the game. And alongside that, with the add-on, there are a bunch of like optional achievements where you can do hardcore mode in like very specific ways, such as like doing a pacifist run where you don't kill anybody, which, as you can imagine, would be a very difficult way to level up. And there's different like specific achievements for like specific classes where you play the class in a specific way. So I am playing a human paladin, which I thought would be like the easiest way to introduce myself to like the hardcore mode, because I've not played it before and I'm on my first character. I'm currently like level 10, I think. I haven't played it too much, but I am playing through a human paladin, and I'm also kind of going for one of the achievements of only using a hammer, a 2-handed mace. So we will see how that goes for me. I am 100% expecting to die, but maybe I'll surprise myself. But as I mentioned, I've been having a lot of fun playing through it, and I really enjoy it pretty thoroughly, and I've had quite a bit of fun with it. And I'm excited to probably continue doing it in the future as well. If I die on this character, I just delete it and I'll go again. I'll probably try to keep playing. If I do end up dying on my human paladin, I'll probably make a human paladin again and probably try to get that paladin all the way to level 60 without dying. And once you reach level 60, you can actually continue playing in the hardcore version of the game, and you can do dungeons and raids, but you can only do it with people who are also doing the hardcore version. But again, if you die, so like if you are doing a raid like Black Queen Lair and you die once in Black Queen Lair, you have to delete your character. So there's a ton of risk involved there, and you have to be really good and really careful. But I'm not too interested in like in-game content, so if I ever reach like level 60, I will probably just not play that character, park it in Stormwind, be super safe. Hopefully I don't get griefed by like another player ever, and then I would check that off. There are a couple of other classes that I'm kind of interested in playing. Namely, I really want to try, this is really dumb, but a warrior where I do like the sword and shield, sword and board, a warrior build going through the hardcore version of the game, which is probably not going to be that fun of a time, but it's just something that I'm interested in trying out. I'm also interested in playing as a hunter because there's an achievement where if your pet ever dies, you have to delete the pet in order to get the achievement, so you can't have multiple lives for your pet, so it adds like a hardcore version of the game to your pet as well, which I think is really fun. And then with Mage, there's 3 different achievements, one for only casting fire, frost, or arcane skills, and that's something that I kind of enjoy doing, but I do use all 3 skills. Like right now, I do mostly only use frost, so it would add a little bit of more depth to the game, I think, because I couldn't use blink or fire blast if I was only using frost skills. And I feel like I would probably pick arcane maybe because you get like conjure food and water and stuff and blink, so I think it might be best to do that, but I'll go ahead and try it out at some point maybe. I actually disabled the add-on because I was kind of concerned about how it would interact with like this character and if it would mess things up on the other character. So I'll go ahead and re-enable it when I go back to that other character. If anyone knows how it works, if it's safe to have it running on this character, and if I die on this character, it doesn't mess anything up on the other one, or it doesn't mess up any like verification or like progress or whatever. I saw a hunter running back to Darkshire that was level 32, I think, and I have a feeling he came from this area because I noticed there's a ton of nothing here. So I've been killing like other Worgen as well because I think they all have the same like respawn areas. So if like one of the bad Worgen that we don't need spawns, it's going to block any of the ones that we do need from spawning, so I'm just clearing that out. But I think I'll go ahead and run back over to the Rotting Orchard, which is just across the road here. So we'll go ahead and see if there's any of the Worgen we need over here. Which if we killed a ton of like the Shadow Weavers or whatever we needed to fight, maybe there's a good chance that there's some extra Dark Runners over here. And I see 4 right here, so that's a good start, at least 5. So let's go ahead and start clearing these ones out. And at 11 out of 12 Nightbane Dark Runners killed, we have our last one here, so I'm going to go ahead and quickly loot it, and then let's go ahead and run it back to Darkshire. We can turn in this quest, and I believe there's only one more quest after it left to complete, so we'll go ahead and pick that one up as well. Chatting with Chlor once again, let's go ahead and turn this quest in and get our 19 silver, and now we can start this last quest here, Worgen in the Woods, where we can fight 8 Nightbane Vilefangs and 8 Nightbane Tainted Ones. And for this one, we have to head to the southern areas here of Duskwood, to some caves and some mines down here. So let's go ahead and run this way. We're not going to run further west, we're just going to run straight south now, and we can start fighting these 2 types of Worgen. And just coming over the hill here we have a bunch of them. So we have some Vilefangs here, so let's go ahead and just start picking them off. I guess it's mostly Vilefangs hang outside here, and then I think we have to go further in to get some Tainted Ones. So let's start working on this part of the quest first. We have a friend coming in here, so we can go ahead and group up and we can fight the Worgen together, which will make everything much easier and much faster as well, which is good. Another fellow mage, but 1 level higher than me. So assuming the mage wants to follow me, I'm going to go ahead and probably skip this camp right here and run all the way around here and fight this Tainted one that's here at the entrance of this mine. So I'll go ahead and begin clearing out the Worgen right here. I don't think I really want to engage any of these larger camps here. And discovering this mine, it is Roland's Doom, which is the location that Jitters and a few other people discovered the Scythe of Elune and picked it up, and upon picking it up, the Worgen were summoned here to Duskwood. So very kind of important location for the story that we've been following here. And it looks like Gutspell is a Worgen that is coming through here as well. So let's go ahead and fight them, and it looks like he brought a Tainted one alongside. So let's go ahead and just kill both of them. And we can kill Gutspell first, and I'm not entirely sure what this Worgen is. I thought it was like an elite one at first, but it's just named Worgen. So let's go ahead and finish off this Tainted one now. It feels very good to have a friend coming through here with us because it makes everything so much easier. These Worgen are dying like twice as fast because there are 2 of us, which is nice. And it looks like this mage is a fire mage or is casting fireballs as well. So it's kind of a nice like polarity there, where I'm a frost mage casting mostly frostbolts, and we have a fire mage here casting mostly firebolts. So a little bit of a fun fact and spoiler, this is actually where you come if you were to do like the quest in the Night Elf areas, which we could run to and do if you wanted. And we come into here and you see that dirt pile over there. That's an important dirt pile that we would investigate on our Night Elf character, but that might be a journey for another day. That was the last Tainted one that I had to fight, so let's go ahead and I'll just roll greed on that. And it looks like our friend there won it, and we have now both killed enough of the Tainted ones that we need. I need to kill 2 more Vilefangs, and I think she needs to kill 3, so we can go ahead and stick around and help out there. So I think we might go ahead and try to pull a couple of the Vilefangs from this camp here. We probably won't pull the whole camp. Those might be famous last words, and it looks like we only pulled the 1, so that's good. And we can go ahead and try to pull the other one right here off on the end as well. And this is the last one that together we need, so we can go ahead and loot this. It looks like we have another friend there, another mage, another no mage. And let's go ahead and run away. I'm going to go ahead and say thank you. And now let's go ahead and run back to Darkshire and we can turn in this quest. A little fun thing about running alongside a mage is we can kind of play leapfrog with our blinks there, where she can leap in front of me with blink and then I'll leap in front of her. One would say I won that race, but let's go ahead and talk to Kalora, and we can go ahead and get our 22 silver. And we have one more quest here. Here you go, Athos. Bring this message to Master Caravan. A few more like you, and we will outnumber the Night Watch. Perhaps then we could complete the work that we few carry on today. So let's go ahead and run to here and talk to Jonathan, and we can go ahead and give him his note. And then he says, "Excuse me for my cold reception, Athos, but as I'm sure you can tell, I am an extremely busy man. I see that you have impressed Kalora, and I assure you that is no small feat, and that he has given his recommendation. There are unsavory types of foot, Athos, and we can use the help of all who have proven themselves to battle against demons, the undead, and those who would provide them aid. Be vigilant, be wary, and trust none who would not give aid to our cause. Glory under the light." So we have a new wand here that we will receive no matter what, which is 24.2 damage per second, which is the same as our current wand, so I'm not going to equip that. But we have Cloak of Faith here, which is 4 stamina, 4 spirit, which I think I'm going to go ahead and equip. And it matches our shoulder pad slayer, which is very nice. And then there's also the Shield of Faith, which we can use shields, but that's what it looks like. But I'm going to go ahead and pick up this cloak, and then I can go ahead and equip it as well. So now we got some nice purple and white vibes going on, and a blue hood. But let's go ahead and clear out our inventory a little bit here. And now, really quickly before I end the episode, I actually want to head back to Stormwind, and I want to throw a couple things up on the auction house. So hopefully the next time we come back we have a little bit of gold. And in addition to that, this is now the end of what we have been wanting to do in Duskwood. And for all intents and purposes, I would say we have mostly completed Duskwood. There are 3 quests that we have left to complete, which we will try again when we are stronger. But if we aren't able to complete them, that's a-okay with me. So for the most part, we have now completed our 5th zone in World of Warcraft. We do have one more quest chain that is going to bring us back through here that I want to do next episode, and then it's going to lead us to some faraway lands as well. So next episode, we will be hanging out in Duskwood a little bit more, but we will also be leaving for some new adventures as well, so it should be very exciting. But let's go ahead and just head back to Stormwind real quick. We can see way off in the distance, we can see the cathedral as well as the gates of Stormwind there. Very cool sight from super far away. And landing in Stormwind, let's go ahead and run over to the auction house. So first I want to take a look at these woolen bags and see if we can put them up on auction, get a little bit of money. Soon enough we're going to need a ton of money, so I think it's good that we start kind of looking at it a little bit and try to earn a little bit of money here and there where we can. I think we earned like 3 gold this episode from doing the quest, so that is good. These green iron shoulders are selling for about a gold, so let's go ahead and do what everybody does and we can undercut the current person by a little bit. And then let's take a look at these enchanting recipes, and looks like no one is selling that. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this up for gold. I really hope this sells, but probably not going to sell. 10 gold, and maybe someone will buy it. And then I'm going to go ahead and just vendor off the items here that we have on this bag and then this wand as well. And then we end the episode at 20 gold, 99 silver, and 29 copper. So I'm just going to go ahead and come into the inn here, because as far as this episode goes, I'm going to go ahead and call it good here. I hope you all enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed playing through it. I had a lot of fun this time, and there are 2 rooms up here. This is very fun. And I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves. Remember to drink some water, check your posture, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time in the world of Azeroth. Goodbye.